mocked him, and arrayed him in glorious robe, and sent him again to Pilate. And the same day, Pilate and Herod was made friends together, for before they were enmity. They were at enmity between themselves. And Pilate, when he had called together the chief priests and the rulers and the people, said unto them, Ye have brought this man unto me as one of the perverse, one that perverted the people. And behold, I have examined him before you, have found no fault in this man. Touching those things thereof ye accuse him. No, nor yet heard, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done unto him. I will therefore chastise him and release him. For of necessity he must release one of them at the feast. And they cried out all at once, saying,
Away with this man, and release unto us Barabbas,
who for a certain sedition made in the city, and for murder, and cast into prison. Pilate therefore, willing to release Jesus, spake again to them. But they cried, saying,
Crucify him, crucify him.
And he said unto them the third time, Why, what evil hath he done? I found no cause of death in him. I will therefore chastise him and let him go. And they were instant with a loud voice, requiring that he might be crucified. And the voices of them and of the chief priests prevailed. And Pilate gave sentence that it should be as they required, and release unto them him that for sedition and murder was cast into prison, whom they had desired, but delivered Jesus to their will. And as they led him away, they laid hold upon one Simon of Cyrene, a Cyrenian, coming out of the country, and on him they laid a cross, that he might bear it after Jesus. And there followed him a great company of people, and a woman which also bewailed and lamented him. But Jesus turning unto them, saying, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For behold, the days are coming in which they shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the womb that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck. Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, cover us. For if they do these things in a green tree, what shall be done in the dry? And there were also two other malefactors laid with him to be put to death. And when they were come to the place which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the malefactors, one on the right hand and the other on the left. And then said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment and cast lot. And the people stood beholding, and the rulers also with them derayed him, saying, He saved others, let him save himself. If he be the Christ, chosen
of God.
And the soldiers also mocked him, coming to him and offered him vinegar and saying, If thou be the King of the Jews, save thyself. And a subscription also was written over him in letters of Greek and Latin and Hebrew. This is the King of the Jews. And one other malefactor which were railed on him, saying, If thou be the Christ, save thyself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, Does
not thou fear God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation?
and we indeed justly, for we receive the due reward of our deeds. But this man hath done nothing amiss. And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me, when thou comest into thy kingdom. And Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the earth until the 9th hour. And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple was rent in the midst. And when Jesus had cried with a loud voice, he said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And having said that, he gave up the ghost. Now when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified God, saying,
Certainly this was a righteous man.
And all the people that came together to that sight, behold, the things which were done, smote their breasts and returned. And all of his acquaintance and the women that followed him from Galilee stood afar off, beholding these things. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Praise the Lord. So once again, we've had some real information shared with us as it relates to crucifixion, and in this particular gospel, as it relates to who they brought him to be tried. Who was Jesus brought to be tried, according to the Gospel of Luke? That's different from what we've had in Matthew and Mark.
Herod as well.
Herod, he now indicated that he was brought to Herod. And Herod was excited about having Jesus come to him. Why?
He wanted to see some miracles.
Wanted to see some miracles performed. And so eventually Herod was unimpressed and sent him back where? To Pilate. Okay, so here also in the gospel according to Luke, in Matthew and Mark, we only had one of the 7 last utterances of Jesus, and Matthew and Mark utterance was what? The one utterance that from the cross that Matthew and Mark spoke of was what? My God, my God, why hast thou forsaken thee? Well, now we have here in the gospel according to Luke 3 additional utterances of Jesus from the cross. If you know one of those 3 additional ones, raise your hand. Sister Anderson, what does it?
Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit.
Okay. Father, into my hands, into thy hands I commend my spirit. There were 2 other utterances. Okay, thank you. You got your one in. You, okay. Deacon Harris. What was another one?
You will come enter into me to paradise.
Verily I say unto thee, today thou shalt be with me in paradise. That was the 3rd utterance that was shared with us according to the Gospel of Luke. If you think you know what the 3rd one is, raise your hand. Other than Sister Henderson. Sister White.
Father,
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they're doing. Okay, Mr. Campbell has something that he wants.
It's a couple things that's different that you find in the Mark, as he spoke about the malefactors.
Mhm.
In Mark, it says, and they railed against the
Mhm.
malefactors.
Mhm.
But in Luke, only one railed against him,
Mhm.
the malefactor. The one on the left railed against him.
Okay.
And another thing that I think is significant to understand, just for some clarity, to understand that in Luke, they made, Luke made the distinction that when he went to Gethsemane to pray, it was his custom.
Mhm.
In other words, it was his custom to go to Gethsemane.
Okay.
And that's why Judas knew where to find him. He knew exactly where he was going to be.
Judas knew Jesus would be there in Gethsemane praying. Luke pointed out something quite significant, I guess we can say, as it related to Jesus praying in the Garden of Gethsemane, that is repeated quite often. Who can share with me what that one thing that Luke pointed out about what was taking place as Jesus prayed? Sean.
Can I share that and some other things as well?
Certainly.
The drops of blood. He pointed out that he sweat and drops of blood.
That sweat like drops of blood came down from his face. Yes, indeed. Okay.
And I was just noticing that from when you look at them in their total, in the whole, how they, all three, because it's a lot of text. They represent three different perspectives. And so with the first one, Matthew, you get this clear account of kind of like justice, because he was kind of set on Judas and figuring out what was going on, and he could tell you verbatim, this happened, and he followed Judas. Like you hear about 30 pieces of silver, you hear that he hung himself, and so he's real clear on dotting I's and crossing T's, whereas Mark